So, good day, everyone, and welcome to the Blockchain Community Day 2024 conference, day number last. I'm your host, Sergei Konstantinov, and today we've got an amusingly intriguing topic for you: how to ruin your expert community. Yes, you heard that. And to make sure that you get the hang of it, we've invited a special guest who's quite the expert in this amazing process, Madi Shakhrur. Madi, welcome. Thank you for bringing such an interesting topic to our conference. And to start with, please, just a couple of words about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. It's a great pleasure to be in front of you guys. Uh, like both ways, either you see it offline or online. I'm the BEsmart Communication Studio Managing Partner. So this is a company I'm ruling for like last 9 years, but like four of them we're totally focusing on the communication issues within the companies, which are mostly IT companies. So we're focused on corporate education and consulting firstly. And for last 2 3 years, we had like a bunch of requests connected with the community of experts and how to build it in the company. So we had seen, a lot of different like ideas and techniques, and some of them actually they did only harm. Some of them they made some benefits. So today we'll talk with you about them a little bit.
Oh, thank you, Madi. And before we dive into this interesting topic, there's a little reminder to our audience to drop your questions, guys, into the chat during the talk, and we will tackle them right at the end. And well, Madi, the mic is all yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much again. Once more time, it's great if you will have some questions. So the part of my speech, it will be great if it will be about your questions and my answers, which should be uh, really relevant for you. I guess so. So let's dive deep into our own motion. And firstly, we'll speak about like the community itself. And we believe that there are different, but maybe three main ideas, three main benefits you can choose to create your community for. And our clients, the companies we have been working with, they usually highlighted one of those three. The first one is about like to enhance the problem solving and the fresh look of the group of people, because if they interact with each other, if they feel as a part of the community, they actually will be communicating more in a more efficient manner, and that is why they will be able to make the decisions in a better way, and the company will also benefit from that surely. So the second one is about the motivation and the employee retention. We believe that the companies believe that in the situation in which different employees, different people, they are really connected with each other, and they connected with this community. So they're just more motivated, more efficient at the work, and we can understand that it can possibly somehow affect such relevant metrics as I don't know, the life cycle of the employee in your own company. So if they are feel connected, the chances that they will go out are less. And the third one is about the knowledge management, or what I usually call the market of ideas. So which company or the team are interested in the situation when the ideas can be spoken freely, they can be exchanged like on the market, and everyone can benefit from that, because sometimes we have this fresh look, sometimes we have just enough speed for some process to be successful. So those are maybe the main three points why the companies want the community in general. But when they try to do that, and sometimes when we try to help them with that, Houston, we have a problem. And this problem is connected firstly with the time, money, and all of other types of the resources. Because at some point, we usually find ourselves in the position, and the company find itself in the position when the company need to invest a lot to push the community in. So, and if we don't push, actually everything stops. Nothing happens. So if we have, for example, the community which is mainly located in some kind of the chat like Slack, so if we do not push extra hard, nobody is actually write down anything, or there's no communication, there's no connection between the people. So um, in a lot of situations, those companies, they just ensure themselves that, well, maybe the community is the mechanics, is a tool here are not is not the perfect fit, and that is why maybe it doesn't work for us at all. So we just will not let ourselves to do it a little bit more and to wait for the result. And this is why I believe this topic can be really relevant, because the main disclaimer is, yes, it is like never easy, and you're never guaranteed that you will have the good community, even if you did all the things like in a good way. So, what we will talk about today? Firstly, we'll talk about some epic fails compilation. So, those are the main strategies if you want to ruin your community. And in this section, we also will speak about some solutions, what you can do with that. Then we will speak about the ways to build the powerful community, and focus on two strategies. And inside those strategies, we also will speak a little more about the UGC content and how to stimulate your audience to create and to offer this audience, this content to each other within the community or outside the community. Both are actually good. So let's dive deeper into that. And firstly, as I said, we'll speak about some problems, fails, barriers, so everything which actually stops us from creating the really good community. So before we start that, I want to share with you a little bit of context about my own company and the types of the community we actually were involved in creating. So, as I said, our main profile is consulting and corporate education, and we work a lot with the speakers from the companies, with all the persons who need to speak on the conferences like that, on the inner or on the public events, on the like in-house company events, whatever. And we have a lot of educational programs and like consulting methodology to help them to create better presentations, both I mean, in terms of structure and meanings and visualization, whatever. So when we do that, we usually and when we do that and work with IT companies, so we usually understand that those companies, they have actually their own goal. And this goal is to make the position of an expert in the company to be desired. So the company is interested um, in the situation, then the experts, they actually motivated to share their own experience through different channels. In our case, those channels are public speeches, some technical articles, professional articles on the professional platforms, and some inner educational products. When we had two clients who actually wanted to create a community of experts who will be able to share their own knowledges and skills with their colleagues through the special platform. So they believe that if they will be part of the community, of the people who will love to share their own expertise, it will be nice for the project, which was the long and really costly for the company. So in our cases, the community, the amount of people in the community was varies from 10 to 150 people. When we spoke about the public speakers, it's usually like from 10 to 40. If we speak about articles or inner educational products, the audience is like from 30 to 100, and in one case, even 150 person. So, and the main place of those communities we helped to build was usually the Slack or the Telegram channel, in which was, like the core point, the main hub point in which the community is holding together. So this is about the request itself, and what about the criteria of success for the for the companies? What are the terms of success? So in our cases, like those four were the main. So the first one is about making the community be able to grow sustainably. So this is about scalability. This is about that it should work itself after some period of time, and it can scale because of the motivation and because of the actions of the people inside the community. So the second one, which is pretty classical for the community, is like the cross pollination of ideas, and we believe that, yeah, this is actually pretty valid term of success, because this is one of the main benefits that the community can give to you, if it is the expert community, or I don't know, whatever community you want to create. Because again, if people talk with each other more, if they try to somehow explain their own ideas and initiatives to each other, so they are like becoming to understand each other better, which is crucially for the efficiency of a lot of process in teams and like between teams. Another one is about the UGC content, because yes, if we locate, like the main location of the community is chat, so yes, we need them to create their own content and offer it to other members of the community via this platform. So we want them to post something, we want them to share stories, we want them to answer questions, we want them to make videos, audios, whatever. Not all the content in the community can be provided by the community manager or the company itself. And of course, it's about the peer-to-peer interaction, which is not the same with cross-pollination of ideas, because you can cross-pollinate just through the text form, but peer-to-peer interaction is more about the personal interaction between you and the other person and the other participant of the community, and it can be both online or offline, but this is only about you two and your own common like ground and the common goals in terms of that community. So this is about the context, and let's dive deep into some of the failures, into some of those deadly sins of the community making. And the first, of course, the first of them is the lack of purpose, which is like, I guess the most common anti-pattern in community management, and that is why we actually need to focus on that really, really, really hard. So we'll start to dive deep into that. And from the one hand, companies usually understand how they will benefit from the active community. Because they understand it will enhance their HR brand, for example, it will enhance their PR activities, the marketing activities, or even the performance. And in our case, it was like pretty the same. So yes, they understand that if people will speak more on the conferences and write more expert articles, so other people who they may hire to the company, they will read and listen to that, and that is why they will they will feel the company as the more credible one. So this is the benefit I understand clearly. Of course, if they generate some content, we can use that in some PR activities, because this is actually a good idea, and we can just take the content and transform this content into whatever we want, into other articles, videos, whatever. And of course, it's about the performance, because they believe that if you actually uh, try to speak to other people about something you are an expert, in. So while doing that, you will understand better for yourself how it works, and you will be able to again like transfer those ideas and your own insights to your colleagues just on the workplace during the work time, and that is why it will enhance the performance. But this is still a lack of purpose situation, because all of those purposes and goals are from the company side, are from the community management side, but they are not from the audience perspective. So this is why that is the problem, and we should ask ourselves what is the purpose for the participants. And actually, there can be only two ways generally here. The first purpose is to fulfill the opportunities, and the second one is to relieve the pain. So we need to dive deeper here, and we need to understand what opportunities they want to fulfill, and what are those barriers or pains we want them to relieve from. And this is why we can do some kind of the research. I guess some of you know about customer journey map, which is the marketing tool, and which helps us to analyze how the our customers feel themselves on different stages of the process. Usually, this is about the stages of selling a product or a service, but we can use the same idea, and we can try to create this, not the customer journey map, but this, and not the community journey map, but the journey map connected with the main process uh, we are actually working with. So, for example, if we understand, like in our case, that um, so the idea is that the audience, uh, you should focus your community on like the particular problem they have, on something which will be really relevant for them. And if you do not understand this problem and you just want for yourself to have some benefits because they speak and write more, so this will not work. So you need to understand what the problems do they have, speaking about preparing for the speech or preparing the article or maybe creating these educational products for the colleagues. So when they do that in status quo, why can they fail? What is frustrating to them? What are the main problems that stop them from being effective in their way? And if you will use that CGM logic, you will find some weak points. So how can you do that? Of course, you need to have like the research, and you need to talk with the people. So if you want to make the community, you need to understand the purpose really, really clear, and that is why you actually need to somehow clarify those needs and pains. And in our case, we understood that in terms of public speaking, and those public speakers in the company, they have different like those pain points. The first one is that they have no place for practice outside of the conferences, so they cannot test some of their own ideas, or they feel not confident enough because they did not have enough time to practice, or they didn't have like the special process for practice, whatever. So yes, this is the first point. The second point is that practically all of them usually have what is called like an imposter syndrome. That means they do not believe that what they actually do is beneficial for the company and for themselves, and they also do not believe that the content they can share is really valuable for other people. And the third one is that they need to redo or rework some part of the job they had done in the past, because they understand that the product, I mean, the speech is not good enough. So they need to rework, and they do, and they work, and they do, and it is frustrating too. And if we understand those pains, we can understand the purpose for the participants. So this community should somehow help them with those. The community should somehow help them to find the place for practice. And this is about like particular types of events which can fulfill these necessity. Uh, it should be the safe space so they can understand that it's perfectly okay to make a mistake here or there in their own speech, and it should help them to decrease the amount of work they actually do while they preparing. So this is like the first one, and if you make this CGM, if you will make the research which will help you to understand what they really need the help with, so it will give you a lot of ideas about what to focus your community on. So yes, we understood those things. So the activities in that case were focused on that, but it was not an easy one because why we could actually understood this purpose is because like the first experience with the same task in other company was actually ruined because we were like just okay with those things the company representative said to us. So yes, those are your goals. We're okay with that. Let's try. But when they understand that this goal actually does not match with the goals of the participants, and so we had like 3 4 events in 2 weeks, and then it actually stopped because people were not motivated to somehow um, take a part into those meetings. So another barrier is about the lack of a core team. So we understand that for the community to move forward, we need the trendsetter and we need some first followers. So we need the people who will show on their own example that this is kind of cool. And in a lot of cases, we have none of those, but we have only the community manager. And there are two different types of the problem with the community manager. So, firstly, it can be too much of the community manager or not enough of the presence of the community manager, for example, in that Slack chat. So, if the only posts, the only ideas, the only initiative is goes from the community manager and all of other people, yes, they can, like reply on something. Yes, they can answer some questions, but or quizzes, but they will never feel themselves as part, and they will never generate some content because it's like we just do what this person says. So, actually, the main idea from our experience here is to try to attract the local influencers when you're starting to make the community. So, you need to find the guy or girl who is an expert in the topic and who is ready to be your ally in terms of the community and in terms of how to manage this community. So, uh, that's how it actually works. And the two most successful cases, speaking about those public speaker communities, one of them was connected with the figure of the STO of the company, who was a good public speaker, who has spoken a lot, and who actually was this benchmark for other people, so they can reference themselves and somehow compare with their STO, and this fulfills the project with the huge amount of the driving energy, what actually helps it to be fulfilled successfully. So, diving a little bit more deep into our experience, I would say that you can try to use different formats here. So, sometimes we had the good results because we made some podcasts or interview which are within the company, and in those interviews, the people who are like the good speakers or who helps other colleagues to learn new skills and new stuff. So if we will create a piece of content in which those people will share how they actually do that, what are the main fears of them, what was the journey. I mean, they can compare themselves as the newbie speaker to the rookie speaker, and they can somehow reflect their own path, their own way to the current position. So if this is informal, if this is about uh, you know some weaknesses, uh, this can actually be a good idea, because what it helps us to do is actually to construct the personal brand of the people who should be our trendsetters or first followers in the community. So if we have like informal corporate culture, we can go like forward, and we can also use some kind of memes, or even Instagram reels, in which, for example, in our experience, there was a situation then to try to highlight attention, to grab attention about the public speakers of the company, because if you just make the post, then someone he was speaking at that conference, good for him or for her. So in a lot of cases, people just this is like the blind zone, so they skip this information actually doesn't help them to feel something. So if you want them to feel something, you can use other formats like the reels, and it can be funny, it can be whatever you like, but this is like the short format, and you can use the special account, or in some kind of a company account, you can use its vertical videos just to help the colleagues to be aware of what is actually happening. And of course, this is all actually about highlighting some achievements and some initiatives. So this is about the community manager. Sometimes, as I said, it can be too much. So a lot of messages. This is pushy, and I understand like someone actually wants something from me all of the time. But another problem is that community manager can be really silent. He or she can practically disappear, and not fulfilling those facilitation obligations um, to evolve the community. So I could say that this is crucial to highlight any initiative you have in that chat. So you can try to focus on asking more questions, especially the open ones. So you can try to somehow highlight some idea, or maybe to ask more about what some people say or speak of. So you need to be interested in what they are saying and doing, and you need to reply fast on that. If you do, so yes, they will feel themselves in a good way, and this is what we actually need. The next part is about the hierarchy, and we can say that yes, sometimes the companies they want to create a community, and they try to use those rigid hierarchical structures, which can kill all of the creativity and the inner communicate, this open communication, and this, of course, will ruin everything. So it's just not a good idea. If you make the community, you should from the scratch think of that as a really horizontal structure. This is why this community manager should not be like the leader of the community, or the main person in the community. It's just the person who helps to facilitate. And even if your community is based on these leaders of opinions, on these recognized experts within the company, with a good personal brand within the company, still they are not just ruling it, or they're not just making the decisions of what's going on later. And if you have this strict hierarchy, it will stop your community from growing sooner or later. So the advice here is to give them choices, as much choices as you actually can. And firstly, you can blend the activities for that. So for example, in our case, we usually offer three types of activities which can be once a week, activities once a month, and activities once a quarter. So and those activities should be both offline and online. If you can do that, those activities should be in a different they should be a little bit different. So another point here is not to push the attendance. We had some cases which like the community initiative was stopped after 2 or 3 months, and in all of them, uh, it was really pushy. So you need to attend, or those companies they tried to, like go both ways. From the one side, they want to create a safe space and to try to connect the people inside the community. From the other side, they reframe some kind of the metrics or KPI for those people. So this is like a hard and a soft approach. And if you are too pushy, so it will not end good. And I guess, the main idea here is to help the community members to create a path together. So of course you need to collect the feedback as often as you can, but also you need to you need to have the space to speak with them about how they see the comfort option of being a part of the community. So maybe you thought that yes, they will be really slow, so we will have like small amount of activities for the first 2 3 months, but then you understand that no, actually they want more, they can do more, so you can increase that, and on the opposite you can do the same. But the idea is to have the special meeting. I believe it can be the second or the third meeting of the community, because on the first you just try to present how it will work. On the second and maybe even the third, you try to do something, and you try to test for those 2 3 weeks, a month, how it actually goes. How do people reply? Do they actually attend on the events you want them to attend? Whatever. And after that, you need to regroup. You need to speak with them honestly, and uh, to be brave. To sometimes get rid of your own ideas, even if you did like them very much. And the last one of those is the hurry, because sometimes we try to hurry up really, really, really fast, and it never. We should understand that the community building never. It is never super easy. It's never fast. So sometimes we listen from our clients that they reject the community idea because they tried and they failed in the first 2 3 months. So now they will stop. Uh, we should say that you always need to be calm and patient here. But to be calm and patient, you can do two main things. Firstly, not try to create the whole part for a year or maybe half a year, because it will be fixed. You will be not so flexible. It will create the idea that you have the good solution, and you will be less able to change your own ideas, to change the tools, to change the approach, whatever. So just try to think about the first weeks or maximum first 2 3 months. Uh, do not look further. And the second idea is that try to keep it as low cost at first as you can, because this is another problem. And nowadays we actually more oftenly advise companies to try on their own to build something for like maybe a month or two, and then to to make some kind of research, and only then to discuss how actually we should do that in the long term. Because if we make the product costly for the company, and it will ruin fastly, so yeah, we all will have kind of problems. Uh, so we spoke about some, I guess, the most frequent problems and the most frequent anti-patterns, speaking about those community creation. And now we'll speak a little about how actually to. So to summarize the main points from the first part of the speech, I would say that you should always start from the research of the audience, and you need to speak with them. You need to speak with at least 7 or 5, like 5 to 7 to 10 people from your potential community. This is the crucial one. Secondly, uh, of course, you should propose some kind of activity list or some kind of rules for the community as you see them, but you should not forget about discussing that. So, as I said, like the first in the first month of your community, you should be able to sit down and discuss how to do it better on the next step. And after that, you actually use that time to just moderate and observe. So not being too pushy, or again, not being too, I mean, not to disappear, but moderate all the communication and trying to observe. So this will be nice if you, as community managing team, which can consist of, I don't know, 2 3 people, if you will have the place to communicate and to discuss, to analyze what is going on. So to just read all the content, to maybe ask some additional questions to the community members, so to reframe maybe a little bit. This is about the fourth idea. So you do not need just uh, it's not enough just to observe. You need to measure and adapt, of course, too. And I would say that the main thing about a good community is the sense of belonging. So just we'll speak about some tools that can help us creating this sense of the belonging. And the first of them is the peer mentoring, which is pretty good idea. And we had only once that experiment, but it was working well. So it can be combined with an idea to have some recognized experts, some person with good personal brand inside of the company as your ally. So this person or a bunch of people, they can be in the position of the mentors to the other people in the community. For example, in those project connected with the articles, not with the speakers, but with the people who should commit those technical and professional articles on the platforms. So we did choose like 4 mentors within the company who also make pretty successful blogs and who have a lot of content in them. So we offered an opportunity for each member of the community to be a mentee with those experts, so they can help them to avoid some missteps, so they can help them to do it in the best way possible. Another one is about collaborative projects. So if you believe that your community should last like more than a few weeks, so you can think about what can be this project the group can somehow commit in during the whole um, during the whole life cycle of the community, and those can be different. In our cases, this was pretty easy because the project was like the final speech, the final text, or the final educational product. Uh, but it is important for those projects to be the group projects, the collaborative projects, not the personal one. And this collaboration is actually the key to success. Uh, Another thing we had some problem with in one of our cases is icebreaker activities. So sometimes you think, yes, I will have like maybe 5, 7 icebreaker activities, and after that they will do it themselves, but not. We should understand that uh, whether the place our community currently exists is either it is the group chat or this is an event offline or online, whatever. So people are always like frustrated with their own problems, with their own context. So they always need time to switch. That is why you need different types of icebreaker activities. They should be really, really, really small. If it is a post, it should be really brief. If there's an icebreaker on the event, it should be brief too, but you should have like a lot. The other one is about the regular recognition of all the success stories within the company. So as I said, it can be podcasts, shows, I don't know, reels, whatever. But you need to highlight all of the success points of your community members. And uh, actually, this is practically always good to make the community in that way that it can develop the skill of the community members. So yes, the community is never about education or like transferring the skills, but it can be the platform. It can be about the environment which help other people to improve the skills of each other. So, for example, we use different types of workshops which can enhance the community. I mean, we have a lot of activities in chats, and we also have some activities in terms of workshops or some kind of the meetings. And we can say that some of them are educational ones, because here or there, this is actually good when the community members, they feel the great value from you. So actually, to any community type, you should think what valuable in terms of skill development can you provide inside this community. The next thing is about articulating the community's purpose in a clear manner. So you can, one time is not enough. So you should do it when the community opens, and maybe each month, each 2 months, we should again look at our own purpose and goals and maybe transfer them. We had an experience when the community goals dramatically switched after 3.5 months of this community, because again, it after those 3 months, it was not perfectly reflecting the real problems and the real needs of community members. Uh, Another important point is to combine individual and community goals. So yes, community goals are great, but you should highlight some individual goals too. For each member of the community, you should communicate it somehow, peer to peer, or on some onboarding parts, whatever. But you should do that. It's always a good idea to celebrate diversity in terms of giving. In terms of letting the community members understand that different approaches, different mindsets, uh, different personal traditions of doing something are all welcome. So, for example, in our case, if we had the people with really different background and they understand um, this public speaking in really different manner, we need to explain that there are different paths. So yes, you can be such a speaker, or you can be other kind of the speaker. So all are welcome. Because if we try to say that you should do one particular way, this always will lead to this disconnection between the community members. And of course, we should watch the psychological safety, which is maybe one of the most important thing to do. And sometimes we need to make an extra effort. So I would recommend to speak particularly about the feedback and about what are the rules of how we communicate with ourselves in the community. So the rules about the chat, the rules about the timings, the rules about how we can express our own thoughts or ideas, and how we can give the feedback to each other in that community. I believe that you should have some extra time to discuss that on the very start of the community. And of course, you need to think about regular social interactions between those people. And in the end, I would say that maybe especially interesting for you will be two latest concepts with the community we found pretty successful for the clients. The first one is the competitive model, which is not obvious because competition from the one hand is not about cooperation, but still sometimes you can do that. So here is like a brief example. We tried to make communities based on the debate technology in different companies. And when we tried to do it as a debate club, so as a place where people once a month maybe or once in 2 weeks like get together to discuss some prepared topics, uh, it was like quite okay. They actually loved that, but usually again, 2, 3 meetings, 4 meetings, and then nobody wants to continue because the real work, the other tasks. So it's like an extra option. But when we tried the same with the tournament situation, so this is not a club, we are not just training, we just have 2 or 3 cups tournaments, debate tournaments within the company. So it was much better because uh, this competition and this gamification is about quick dopamine. So yes, they can understand the results of what they are doing. They can feel themselves as a winner or a loser, and that is why they have this stimulus to do it one more time, just to win one more time and not to lose the next time. Not all of them, but their attention was like dramatically better comparing to the situation with the debate club. So again, uh, 3 points which are important here are the personal traction. So when we do that, we usually make some private diaries for each of the debater, so they can understand their scoring, they can understand some dashboards of how did they play in the past, and then they can reflect themselves using that diary. Again, you need some award system if you use the competitive model. So the model in which community is based on achieving some kind of the result. And here, this idea about the personal brands of the community members becomes more and more crucial because they need to feel that other people in the company understand that they are strong in debates in our case, but so whatever type of the community you have. And another one, which is the latest, is the research community model, which can be especially profitable if we want to stimulate this UGC content inside of our community. And this actually stands on the assumption that people, they love to rate and to estimate everything around them, but they do not love to be estimated themselves. So speaking about an expert community, we had like an idea that maybe we will have some activities both in chat and in real events online and offline, and those activities, they should help people to focus on research the subjects. And the subjects again, there was the public speeches, the professional articles, or those educational products. So the idea was that we can connect with each other by the real motivation of analyzing something and of researching. So yes, we just made a bunch of activities where the speakers, for example, they can rate, observe, and estimate other speakers, not from the company, but from from uh, the from the public. So we believe that this can work because it actually helps people to transfer into another cognitive position here, and they have something to research, and they became a group because they have this motivation. So, well, sorry. So we believe that you can actually invest time in that on onboarding, and you can try to create some activities, and the main aim of those activities will be to research the subject of your community. And if you do that, you help people to do that easy job, to somehow estimate others. And by that, they can understand a lot about themselves, about the colleagues, about how it works exactly. And yes, we saw that the people who had like 4, 5, 6 times they were trying to analyze other speakers and other speeches, uh, they became more they became more proactive in terms of delivering their own speeches within the company and out of the company. So we believe those two tactics can be, they do not guarantee you anything, but in some places, in some communities, they can be useful for you. So I guess that's all from my side for today. So thank you for attendance. And if you have some questions, we can speak of them. If you have some questions and you want to ask them personally, so you can scan this QR code with my LinkedIn and find me there to chat a little bit there if you prefer that type of communication. So thank you again once more time, and let's go to
Madi,
the
thank you. And we do have some questions to you. And the first question is, can you provide like examples of successfully established communities?
Yes, we had one successful and established community, which is called the Shelf. This is about a huge IT company which need to stimulate and experts to share the knowledge with other people in the company. So they create educational products. So we had like 7, 8 months to build this community. So like the company did build it. We just helped with some activities. So we had the community manager from other side. We have the strategy on our
Mhm.
side, and we tried to mix different activities. After 2 or 3 weeks, we actually like get rid of 70 or 80% of all activities we imagined in the first place, because we understood that the people they just do not take part into those. And after that, they made those like MVP of educational products. And now, once in 2 or 3 weeks, we come back to the client to ask them if they communicating with each other and if they continue to serve those educational products. And yes, they do. So this was the first one. Another two was about public speakers, and one about the text. So it was like pretty the same. But also we had like 4 or 5 which didn't work out. Uh, Mostly because of the reasons I tried to show in the presentation. So it's like 50, 60% success rate, I would say so, because you never can be sure that people will interact truly with each other. And yes, a lot of companies they just spend a lot of money on that and have no result and then close. So
Mhm. Thank you. And another question from that one. Would it be like beneficial to emulate the strategies of successful communities and replicate their success, like going step by step like they did?
I believe not actually, because when you try to do that, you usually avoid this first step of analysis your audience deeply, and that is why because it's you need to research because it really matters. And for example, in our case, the process the company provide for the public speakers to prepare and to then speak on the different events, they are really different. So the problems which the speakers have inside the companies, they're really different too. And we need, as I said, be able to understand clearly the main problem. That is why it's always more beneficial not to skip this research part.
Hmm. So does it mean that a community could be successful if there are like personalities and individuals in that community around whom the community is built. So the question is it possible to build a community around a single individual?
I guess it's like it's like this trendsetter and first follower. I guess single is not enough because you need to have the core team in at least of 3 to 5. So
Could it be a service team around this individual? It could be a core team, but like they like give him some service for this individual to drive this community forward.
yeah, but if he's the only one who actually attends this community, so this is a problem. I mean, if
Mhm,
that guy has the good enough personal brand, he's credible in the eyes of other people. Yes, he can be like this main push power of the community. But again, firstly, we need to try it out. So yes, we need to grab this guy, for example, and we need
mhm,
to try to I don't know, make 2 or 3 events, and we need to understand: do people they actually reply on that offer? Do they want to attend? And if we have 3 events, so 80% of those people they will go out, but you will have those 3, 4, 5 that are really interested. So after that, you grab this person, you grab those like core attendance team, and then you try to mm, discuss within this circle how you want this community to actually look like in the future.
mhm. Thanks. And there's another question. When you talk about a sense of belonging, are you referring to the pride of being part of a specific community?
Yes, of course. This is, but it's not only about the pride. This is also about the safety. You know,
Mhm,
because if I'm not safe, I cannot feel this belonging feeling because I feel like I have no opportunity to actually be myself. I'm worrying of making the mistake. I'm worrying that the other people maybe they look at me like in a strange way. So the ability to express ideas freely and the ability to create a safe space. This is actually the best way to do that. Is yes to have this like one person who is actually who had empathy and who had the motivation for the community. So this person can help with that really. But it's not only about being pride; it's also about being safe.
mhm. And talking about feelings, could we say that dopamine is a primary reason why people, join communities, attend events because, well, they feel
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And this is why you should mix different alternative formats. You should mix the people, so you should try to give them something new all of the time. Because even if they like something, but they do that the second, the third, the fourth time in a row, it will be the routine, and it will be like just okay. So yes, uh, you need to think about emotions and the dopamine really deep. And the dopamine, it usually comes when we understand that we did something and we have the result. So this result can be a post about yourself in the company blog. This result can be
Mhm.
the win in the debate. This result can be uh, the dopamine of when somebody just said you thanks because you helped some of the colleagues in the community and they did something better because of you. So this is about the dopamine, and yes, you need to think about that in a particular way.
Okay. Well, and that wraps up today's session. Madi, thank you for your wonderful talk and for answering all those questions.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure again to be with you. And I wish all of you luck in your community management projects and have a good weekend too.
Yeah, thank you. And a big thank to our audience for sticking with us through the whole 5 days of the conference. And before we finish, I'd like to invite you to our next talk, brief review of value exchange systems. And trust me, you won't want to miss that. And this has been your host, Sergei Konstantinov. We'll be right back in a minute. Stay tuned.